Bobosi Tiberius back with round 3 of a Modern League using Mono White Martyr Proc, and we are not going to keep a no-land hand. Hand gets better. We will end up putting back one of the paths. Actually, let's put back the Cleansing Nova. Let's put back the Cleansing Nova. And that is absolutely a great start for us. We accidentally have a stop in our upkeep here, so let's get rid of that until we get to Proc. And we'll pass. After playing a Plains. Would love to draw a white card here. Especially against a Goblins deck. So this could just be a more generic Goblins build. I've also been seeing some Goblins build that almost run as if they're an Aristocrats deck. So either way, we're okay with this. Especially since they got off to a slower start with turn 1 Aether Vial instead of, say, a different turn 1. Bloodstained Mire. And Quest for the Goblin Lord. And a Goblin. Double quest. Okay. What we like about this is they're down to 4 cards. So it is going to be difficult for them to put triggers on those quests if they don't have many goblins left. So just +2/+0 as long as it has 5. Okay. So we'll activate Martyr here and play a Serra, forcing them to deal damage to us. And if they can't do that, they're in pretty big trouble. We also have the ability to pass. We have the ability to untap and play a Martyr if they are able to get us down. So there's a lot we can do with what we're doing here. They still don't have a creature on the battlefield. Aether Vial on 2, we know they have a War Marshal. That's all we know they have. The War Marshal will be 2 triggers for the quest. Let's see what happens. Red and a black for the War Marshal. Quest triggers twice on the War Marshal, and then we'll trigger twice on its token. They still need a lot here. I think they have Munitions Expert they could cast at us. Munitions Expert is a card. Double Serra is just really difficult for them to get through. And we'll play another. Blood Crypt tapped. Aether Vial plays a creature. Stink Scourger. To bounce our Serra Ascendant. Okay. So they can give their creatures +1 here. So now they have 2 quest triggers. As long as one of these 3 cards they'll have in their hand is a goblin, they can hit me for 3. It's a Ringleader. Ringleader's a great card. Ringleader's a really strong card for them in this circumstance. So they will hit us for 11 this turn. But we do have the path, so we're not too far behind here. They have If they have another Hasty Goblin, we're in trouble. They do not have another Hasty Goblin. Oh, they do have another Hasty Goblin. So let's see. We can path the 6, go down to 28, crack Martyr, swing in. Is our best line of play here. So let's get rid of the Ringleader. Very explosive hand by our opponent with the double quest. Or not explosive, but very strong hand by our opponent with the double quest. We'll go down to 28 here. Crucible is a card. Crack Martyr right away to get up to 34, and then get into for 40. So 15 will come at us next turn. Yeah, I guess it's the Serra. They have to attack with everything, and we can just hold back and hit for 2. They concede here. I don't think we had it, honestly. I don't know if we 100% had it. They were starting to turn the tide, so we'll take the concession for sure, but I'm not sure we 100% had it. Ghostly Prison absolutely comes in. From there, there's not really much to bring in. We'll keep a Walking Ballista in, just in case the game goes late. We'll cut a Weathered Wayfarer, and we'll cut some number of the Generous Gifts, and just present that. Other than that, yeah, there's not really much we care about here. It's a pretty solid matchup for us. I could cut a Crucible to bring in some Gideons, but Gideon seems a little weak. We really just want to get to wrathing them. Runed Halo is fine. There's actually a lot we could cut, but I don't really need the Generous Gifts. Let's actually cut the Wheel of Sun and Moon for an Elspeth. Let's do that. If we get to 6 mana, Elspeth is pretty good against them, and can also close out a game. Yeah, I definitely don't think we had turned the corner against our opponent there. They were going to put another 5/5 onto the battlefield, swing for 21. I was at 40. So we could gain some life, but it would have killed us. I guess we win the race eventually. This hand is not ideal. This hand is better. We'll keep this and bottom the Proclamation of Rebirth. Actually, yeah. That or the Elspeth is the best bottom there. And I want to keep the Elspeth. This hand is a little bit slow, if we're being honest to ourselves. But it's better than going to 5. Ramanat. Aether Vial. We get a Plains, so we now have Ranger mana. We like Ranger here because we're happy about Ranger here because it can get Kami as well, which sometimes Martyr just isn't enough. Removal is good. We like removal. Put a Mistveil Plains in tapped and pass. Let's see if they vial anything in. We didn't see any 1-drop goblins, but for a goblin to not have 1-drops is a little bizarre. And once again, they don't vial anything in. crack Bloodstained Mire, get another Blood Crypt, one would imagine. Put it in untapped for Matron. I like that Art of Matron a lot. I like Matron in Modern a lot. Earwig Squad. So we're seeing a lot of cool stuff here. So they can prowl for it. They can add 3 mana to just exile some cards from us, which is pretty strong. They're using a more control-y hand here, which we are okay with mostly. Let's get that Ruins out of here while the getting is good. We don't want to have to lose to math. And we'll pass from there. Their hand is a little too slow to stop us from using Winds of Abandon, using Cleansing Nova. Piledriver is a good card. We might need to Winds of Abandon Piledriver. They'll get in for 4 here? Yes, 4. And Earwig Squad. To get some Martyrs out of our library, one would imagine. They can only get 3, though. They can't get a full play set of anything. It is also a 5/3, though, so that is a thing. Long decision for our opponent. Very long decision for our opponent. The Prowl cost on that ends up being very good in a Goblins deck. Just, it's difficult for them to not get damage in. I can't remember if Earwig Squad says Goblin or Rogue. It doesn't really matter. I think Goblin. I would guess Goblin now, since that's a Goblin Warrior and that's a Goblin Druid, just a Goblin. So yeah, Earwig Squad ends up being a very good card in a Goblins deck. Long decision for our opponent. They choose Proc, Crucible, and Settle. Well, all right. Serra. Gonna get a Ranger here. Get a Martyr and a Kami, since they didn't choose either of those. And since we have the Serra Ascendant ends up being a great draw because of that. We are going to take 6 damage here no matter how we block. At least, so we'll be down to 10. But we can go Martyr, Crack Martyr, Serra, Kami next turn. Or just Cleansing Nova if we draw it. If we draw the land, I mean. Settle is a bit obnoxious. Taking our Settle is a bit obnoxious, I mean. Very interesting choices on our opponent's part with that Earwig Squad. Opponent casts a late quest. Vials in something that is 4 mana. Ringleader. Hasty, haste, haste. They get Bridge, Field of Ruin, Goblin Ringleader. And another Aether Vial. That Ensnaring Bridge is obnoxious, if I'm being honest. But with I'm glad we brought in Elspeth against that Ensnaring Bridge, though. Okay. Martyr will push us up quite significantly here. I'm going to be a little greedy, honestly, and not cast the Cleansing Nova. Probably should have saved that to block. We're just going to play Kami and hope we draw another Martyr. Or we can proc it back and go that way. I want my opponent to play more cards before we use that Cleansing Nova. We do have the Winds of Abandon backup, but I just kind of want to blow them out here. So we'll sack Kami here. And they don't cast anything. So what we will do is we will play... I'm going to save that proc. And cast a Ranger. Use Ranger to get some stuff. Let's get a Martyr and a Martyr off of that Ranger. That way we can get Serra online. Do they have anything they can bring in with Vial? I didn't see any 1-drops when they revealed to Ringleader. Apparently they have a 4-drop though. Did they get another Ringleader off of that? I can't imagine they have too many more 4-drops. Yep, Ringleader. Let's see how well it hits this time. War Marshal, Munitions Expert, Field of Ruin, and Aether Vial. So they get 2 cards off of that. They get the Munitions Expert, they get the War Marshal. They can flash in the Munitions Expert here, and they will, to blow up our Ranger. And that allows them to get a good chunk of damage in. I want to see them cast another card so that Cleansing Nova really blows them out. They keep Aether Vial on 4 and then push the other one up to 2. War Chief. They can try to go for the kill here. And they will. Yeah. Everything has haste, so let's see how good things are for them. This should be lethal for them. So no, 8. I'm not even going to count it. They've got it. Very good turn for them. They kill me almost twice. Let's bring in Stony Silence, I guess. We didn't see the Vial at first. It makes sense that they have it. And we'll cut a Runed Halo for that. We can kind of time walk them on the play with the Stony Silence. Actually, let's cut a generous gift for that. I like the Runed Halos a little bit better. We've yet to see any enchantment hate, so a hand with Ghostly Prison becomes very good. Looks like their hate is Trashmaster more than it's anything that would actually hate out an enchantment. Again, that wasn't a super great keep for us. Off mulling to 6, we could have and probably should have mulled to 5, but didn't look good for us either way. We will take the play. We will keep this very decent hand. Start with an Emeria and pass. Quest for the Goblin Lord for our opponent. Play a Martyr. Interesting. Very interesting there. We're actually just gonna take our time here. If they're not gonna play a fast hand, we won't either. Let's see if they shock in a black land for Munitions Expert though, to try to blow up our Martyr. Nope. I guess there's a universe where the generous gifts can kill a quest for the Goblin Lords. I guess there is that, but it just seems so weak, and that's still a lightning bolt a turn. Opponent's taking their time. We would really love to draw a white card next turn, be able to crack Martyr at 32 and use Ranger to get another Serra. Aether Vial for our opponent. No dice, unfortunately. So what we'll do here is we'll play Flagstones, crack a Flagstones, and play Crucible. And that allows us to just Flagstones every turn until they answer it. Still not going to attack though, we don't want to risk that. Another Vial for our opponent. And Trinisphere. Okay. Get another Martyr here. And we'll keep passing. Cleansing Nova would be funny here. Like, I feel like I lose my Crucible to Cleansing Nova their Vials and their 3 Spheres and their quest. Auntie's Hobble, tapped. So they still don't have a Goblin, it looks like. They kept a very hate-centric hand here. That's what we need. We're just going to keep strengthening our draws, getting closer to Emeria mana. We now have them pretty well clocked. They are able to put in a 2-drop here. It's a War Marshal. They can't double block, though. So they're still either going to take 3 or just generate another Goblin right away. Yep, they're just going to block and get another Goblin. So they've got quest on 3 already. War Marshal strong like that. Do they Field of Ruin here? Yeah, that seems appropriate. Oh no, they push. Okay. One card left in hand for our opponent. So we feel pretty confident here. They do have the Field of Ruin to kill our Emeria. If they find a Trash Master, they can kill our Crucible. There's another War Marshal, so Quest gets big. Quest makes their Goblins big. Not huge, though. So we will do the Flagstones thing again. Play a Martyr. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, let's bring in that Ghostly Prison. They can only attack with 2 creatures, and we can block both of them. They kept a hand to try to hate us with Trinisphere and then Quest for the Goblin Lord, and they just didn't draw many creatures, unfortunately for them. I almost sided out Crucible here, and it ends up just being really strong. They pay the Echo for War Marshal. Do they have a way to kill enchantments? They pay 3 mana for an Aether Vial. So at this point, we're going to take the Field of Ruin while the Field of Ruining is good. And then we will pass. So many Aether Vial triggers. One of my favorite things about playing Martyr Proc is this would be about the time where people start cruising around the tables at a tournament, and they would get the privilege of seeing a life gain deck still playing against an aggro deck. And they would then start roasting me. I mean, I don't know why you don't attack with War Marshal there and get yourself a Goblin. Okay. Their creatures still die. And I still gain life. Or their one Goblin still dies. And I have enough mana to still cast the Elspeth? No, not quite. Very glad all of a sudden that I brought in the Elspeth. Just wipe your board. Probably should have just done that, honestly. Munitions Expert will deal 5 damage to me. Or 5 damage to Serra. That's fine. Do you have a second one? They do. So they'll... But they don't get in with anything. Oh, they'll get in with 1. They're at 0 cards now. You almost feel like a little bad, but eh. Now we have Emeria online, and we will just start blowing stuff up. And they concede to Elspeth. Not much they could do once I wrath the board with Elspeth, unfortunately for them. So we do drop one game to a very winnable matchup, but we end up pulling it off, and we are 3-0 to start this league. So now we're just playing with house money. Let's see if we can keep finishing strong.